You gotta listen to me. Are you enslaved? Yep, you're probably enslaved. It says, now that we got separated from the mist, and I was walking around with my intuition, and then next thing you know, I got stuck in the seashore again. It says, luckily, the seashore that I went to was a little different from the mist. The entrance to the misty forest that we went from before. And so I went from I went just straight seashore north to figure out where to go. And then all of a sudden, after the fog disappeared, I saw a land, which was Salisbury here. I thought I could, I thought I could find. I thought I could find more information if there was a place where a lot of humans reside, or people, so I can gather information. But you know, hear this. It says, my lovely angel. My lovely angel that I never expected came to my shop. With her legs all tired up, but she had a will with a blue eye of determination, and she said this. She said, "It's a beautiful shop. Let me work here until I die." I didn't say any of that. All I asked was, I'm looking for a person, but before that, can I get a cup of water? It says, oh man, you know? It says, oh man, but you know, working forever for eternity, you're always welcome, okay? So if you ever change your mind, let me know. The owner of the bar is like, no, don't go away. But, you know, if you ever want to work forever, you're always welcome. It says, okay, Mike, you can, please go back to the counter. I'll tell you how to make a cocktail after this for funsies. This fairy is like head over heels for Da Vinci. She's like, my Da Vinci, my little angel. Anyway, the situation I have. This is the situation I'm in so far. I'm glad that you're safe and sound, Protag and Tristan. It seems like you haven't been able to meet up with Mash. I see. So this is one of the servants that Protag was talking about, huh? I see. Well, so that's who you are. Well, it's been an honor to meet you. You genius. Talents knows no bound. Genius Leonardo da Vinci. Oh. The fact that you know my name means that are you a servant from the proper human history? Name is Oberon. Very King Oberon, after all. Well. I guess in this terminology here, I'm just some fairy king from a faraway land. Hello. This is our first time meeting, Miss Da Vinci. My name is Castoria Artoria. I've met Protag in the forest. And, well, we have a situation. And so, right now, I'm the owner of Mr. Protag, and right now we're moving together. What? That's so funny. I see. Then if that's the case, Protag is all ready to go, huh? Thank you, Artoria. But are you perhaps a fairy of Britain as well? And you already know our current situation and whatnot, but yeah, with the current situation being told, you're still going to lend a hand to Protag? Well, yes. To be perfectly honest, I don't really understand what Mr. Oberon and Mr. Protag are saying half the time, but all I know is that Mr. Protag hasn't been lying. I know that for a fact. And somebody who's in need of help, I shouldn't ignore. And to be perfectly honest, it looked quite funny to hang around with him, so I see. Then it's perfectly fine if we talk about our situation then, okay? So, if that's the case, let me hear about your story. Your journey so far, Protag. I see. So that's what happened in the forest. Well, anywho, I'm glad that you're safe and sound. Thank you guys for your protection, Toristan, Oberon, and Artoria too. We don't know a lot of we don't know a lot of information in Britain. We don't know where Mash went. But we know for a fact that Mash is safe and sound. Oberon is poor as shit. Well, if we can figure that out straightforward, I think we can come up with some plans to figure something out. Oberon's decision up till now was correct. I believe that what we should do is not move to Britain willy-nilly. We should use Salisbury as an informational gathering site, gathering guide, and let's try to solve our problems one at a time. But our top priority is going to be investigating where Mash is, right? We're going to be figuring out an information of a girl who's wearing clad armor. With that information, we might be able to get some glimpse from the fairies, if not anything from the situation of Britain at hand. Wait, we're gonna use this as a base? Da Vinci, you have a home or something? Yeah. Well, of course I do. You know, this bar is technically my home because of certain situations. But if I were to say it honestly, it's just an imitation of human inn or human lodge, right? It's just a pure imitation of human lodge being created by the fairies. After all, Mike doesn't know what an inn or lodging is, so I told him I told him exactly the concept and the manuscript of how it can be done. And then, as you can see, we're able to make two floors and 3 rooms. And with that, we made a small Karudia base because of it. I was hoping that I would be able to rendezvous you guys one day. So essentially, Da Vinci said, since Mike, aka the fairy owner of the bar, didn't know what a lodging is, right? Because fairy doesn't sleep, fairy doesn't care where they are. So for shits and giggles, Da Vinci told how to make quote-unquote rooms. And because it looked fun, the fairies made 3 rooms for us. And therefore we made a mini little base here. In order for us to gather and rendezvous. Oh, as expected of Da Vinci-chan, if Lancelot were to see you, he'll definitely fall in love with you head over heels. A genius girl you are. Artoria's like, huh? Your Lancelot person, does he prefer Da Vinci type little girls. And then you got two options. You fucking spit your water out, or you spit your apple juice or apple water, or you're not wrong, but you're because Tristan is respecting Da Vinci as Da Vinci adult, right? But Artoria is taking it like physical sense. So so Artoria is questioning, is Lancelot a lolly? And so I get to spit my fucking drink. It says, I'm really grateful. Da Vinci, you really are, you really are a very reliable servant, aren't you? With that says, I'll take my leave here. To be perfectly honest, there's a lot of things I gotta do. Mr. Oberon, so you're taking a different route from us. Well, yeah. Don't worry. I'll still gather information about Mash. Yeah, the little girl called Mash that you're searching for, too. It's just that I need to... I also need to understand the location and the information for Britain in general as well. Jesus Christ, so much lore to read. It says, the fact that Carudia came in, we already know that something is going to change in Britain. After all, we don't have many allies. We need to know every nooks and crannies and information we can get to help us. Wait, we can meet each other again, right? Of course. If you guys constantly come here, I can see you guys. And that's a perfect thing. Next time I meet you, I'll probably have some information. And I hope that you guys get used to Britain by then. Oh, I wonder how many days that is. I don't. Already left and gone, huh? He sounds quite reliable, but he sure got his own pace and his own egos. He got his own pace and own ego to an extent, huh? Yes. With that, fancy clothing, I understand. I'm quite happy. He's definitely the same type of... he's same type as us. He is a man with many talent. Anyway, what are we going to do now? If it's Salisbury, I can take you around town a little bit. Now, I think you should all... I think you should all rest up. You guys were tired walking here, right? Use the second room. Use the second room. Second room. Come on. Tristan, Protag, you'll be using one room. I'll be using one room. And Tristan will be using one room. Oh, interesting. And Artoria will be using the room that was meant for Mash. It says, I'm glad that I pushed myself to make him make 3 rooms. Don't worry. The room has magical protection. Magical interference protection as well. Things will not things will not leak out from outside. So sleep as comfortably as you can. It says, Mono oto ga soto ni morenai koto mo nai. So meaning that it's Da Vinci is telling us and hinting us that our next conversation will be in the room. So Da Vinci is giving us a sign. Okay, so we'll continue the conversation in the room. So Da Vinci said, there's 3 rooms specifically. One for me. There's one specific room for Da Vinci that's already pre-made. One for Protag, one for Tristan, and one for Mash, but Castoria is going to use it. In these rooms, there are special magical barriers, so nothing can leak out of sound, meaning that we can talk to our heart's content. Is it really okay for just me and for free use these rooms. Oh my god. Yeah, oh my god, my dream came true. A one person room. I would love to rest. I would love to rest for certain. Thank you very much, Miss Da Vinci Chan. Oh my goodness. Yeah, panhuman histories, fairies are all fucking big, big players, and I'm really glad. The fucking Castoria's like, my own room. Let's go. So she went. Well, I didn't really touch too much on it, but she must not be the Artoria that we know very well. Huh. Yes. The pan-human history King of Britain. King Arthur, or Artoria Pendragon. She is an existence completely different, for sure. Alright, well, let's have a conversation with that included as well. So, can you guys move to the room as well, you two? From here, there's always a just in case, and that we have to be wary. When it comes to that side of the talk, I think we should do it, secluded. Well, with that said, let's keep things simple and clear. Information gathering for sure. So we're gonna be talking about the fairyland, the fairyland of Britain. You've already felt it all the way coming to Salisbury, right? This island's feeling with your own skin, but this place is completely different than the other Lostbelt areas. ある文典において別関係上に進んだ人間とはとても思えない。何しろ人間が霊長として降臨していないからね。基本的に妖精だけの世界なんだ。So essentially, Da Vinci is explaining that there's no different rotations or different advancements of humanity whatsoever or degradation. So Da Vinci is saying that humans technically exist, but they don't exist to the point where it's not modern, but it's not ancient. So it says, yeah, practically this is supposed to be the world of fairies because humanity as a whole is not the one taking over, meaning that the laws of the fairies apply instead of the laws of humans, right? She's saying that humanity exists, but they're not the main source, so the rules don't apply. The basic human rules do not apply, but the rules of fairies apply because the fairies outnumber the humans. Because, for an example, Russia, human species considerate could not survive, so they evolved into more of they evolved, or I should say adapt, in order to live in that environment. Nordic, Ragnarok occurred. In the Nordic region, the gods occurred in the Ragnarok, therefore Ragnarok succeeded, and humanity, quote unquote, reverted or regressed. Regressed little by little. China is definitely because of one true human, right? One true human, aka what's the another word for one true human, chat? I forgot what the fuck is one true human called. Whatever. I forgot. The god? No. Yes, I'm talking about Chin. Yes, your boy Chin. Make it double. The Zinren Xinghangdi, right? The immortal techniques that evolve to its utmost limits. The ultimate life form. I guess that'll be the right word. The ultimate life form. Since in China, one ultimate life form was exactly created and governed the world. Therefore, it was it was eternity of one man country that both loved and selflessly loved himself and the people. And in India, instead of a human reincarnation, the world reincarnation cycle kept going in all, and it was almost turned into nothing more than it was almost turned into nothing. インドは人間の自害を繰り返すではなく、世界の自害を繰り返すことによって、so yeah, India is, she's talking about how instead of humans resetting, the world itself was resetting, and it was about to disappear, aka comparison. Girisha は滅びなかった神々によって人類が完全に保証された世界。It says in Greek, aka Lostbelt 5, right? Close your ears because Lostbelt 5's concept is about to be spoiled. So until the LB6 thingy don't disappear, be careful. When you see this shit again, it means back to LB6. Now we're going to be spoiling LB5 concept. So mute your stream now. So in LB5, there were many gods that would never reside, that would never perish. And because the gods never perished, the humanity has been quote-unquote capsulized and entrusted for eternity. Why would you say that? Because there's some people that wants LB6 spoiled, but not LB5 in the others, if you really think about it. Prime example would be CAD. It says, no matter what, there's no progress. In the end, there's no progress there's no progress on our way up. But everything had it in common, saying that all the worlds up till now was a world of humanity. So れを我らが知しても2017年の地球環境によった人類外交を公爵していた。でもこのブリテンは違う。そもそも人類の世界じゃないんだ。So it's saying that no matter how long or how far it was, in the end, every world we went up till 2007, it was bestowed upon that humanity ruled the earth. Human species was in control of the law. But in this Britain, this place is not the world of humanity in the first place. And anything outside of Britain doesn't exist. It's not that it disappeared because of the storm wall or anything like that. It's quite genuine. Like, really. In this Britain, there's nothing else outside of this world. There's no 5 continent, there's no anything, no other countries or whatnot. As long as this Lost Belt is concerned, and inside of this Lost Belt, this exists on Earth, is the British Isles and its oceans. That's it. Meaning, so this is like an isekai, another world that has completely nothing to do with humanity. Yep. Well, that's the conclusion we kind of have to say and get along with for now. I've been asking around what an outside world or outside the country feels like, but nobody really knew the term outsider or foreigner. It says, ever since the start of this fairyland of Britain, something peculiar and irregular has definitely happened and secrets lie below. In order to figure that out and figure its mystery, in order to solve in order to conquer this Lost Belt, we definitely will, if we were to figure out the secret, we'll definitely learn how to conquer this Lost Belt. No, we'll probably be led to the right answer to how to fix the problem. So it says, excuse me, if other European countries don't exist, right? If other European countries don't exist, does that mean that the land of the fairy tale, this whole place, would only reside in the Isle of Britain, correct? So that's a good question, Tristan. 他の土地がないのなら影響だけど、そこは人類の約束ってやつ？人類治療で発生した、妖精であれば形を存在でも存在したことになっちゃうんだ。So Tristan is technically asking, then how is Oberon come into play? Right? He's technically asking, if it's just the Isles of Britain, how are other fairies coming in hot? "他の土地がないのなら、土地特性の英霊養鳥がブリテンに入手されるものはない。だけどここは人類の約束ってやつ?" So yeah, Tristan's asking about there's only Britain in this fairy tale. There should be limited amount of fairies, not this much. That's a good question. If there is no other lands and whatnot, or special fairy tale being told by it, it's impossible to import it from other than Britain. But you must understand that's just a promise, or quote unquote humanity's little upkeep. If it is a fairy that occurred within the Earth side, or aka in the planet side, if a fairy occurred in the planet, technically, in any shape or way or form, they technically existed in this era, therefore it existed in manifestation. A lot of the fairylands, a lot of the fairies have their stories rewritten or changed in shapes or aspects or different perspective and being summoned. 伝承を見られる形を変えて発生している. So yeah, essentially Da Vinci is saying that the reasons why other European servants, or other European fairies, I should say, the reason why the other European fairies are, aboard in the Isles of Britain is because they're twisted and chained, and because they once lived in Earth, right? Technically, Earth means, planet Earth. At this very moment, this Lost Belt, the Isles of Britain, has become the planet of the Earth, right? Because of the concept that there's nothing else outside of Britain completely, like no other countries and whatnot, blah blah blah. It's completely, shut down, different from the shadow storm wall. So since the Britain is the Earth itself, technically, since there's the only thing left, So anything, any fairy that existed on Earth technically can get compressed into Britain, and with their folklores kind of twisted and jaded, be able to manifest here without worries. That's what Da Vinci's trying to say, TLDR. Let's just keep it as life form of the same family or some sort, okay? And then see right here. 生命、文化、イベントが失うこともあるさ。似たものが生まれるですか? So essentially, Da Vinci is saying that no matter what happens, certain things will happen, right? Life, civilization, and certain events would follow suit. Yep. The fairy tale Britain, the fairyland Britain is completely different from the Britain that we know completely. But even in this isekai world, aka outside world, we still have some similarities. For instance, the town's name, fairy's name, the queen who would rule this world's name, perhaps. You were here, right? While we were walking up north, you saw a big, gigantic castle. That's the that's the ruler, Queen Morgana's castle that rules this entire fairyland. Castle's name is Camelot. In the pan-human history, the Knights of the Round Table and the Arthur, it's the place. It's the place, the castle that symbolizes the peace of Britain. And Morgana kept harassing Arthur, and in the end, brought Britain to its demise. For Britain, it's a very eerie, very displeasing name to mention. She's one of the most powerful witches in the area or in the legend. So this kind of talks about who Morgana is. It says, I've been hearing about her all day, but which Morgana? Well, to be perfectly honest, Morgana has been controlling this fairyland for about 2,000 years plus. And Britons have 6 different clans or 6 different control groups. You know, the clan types. They have, Wind, Earth, Fangs, Mirror, and Wings. And one more. Which is King, chat. Remember, there's a King. She doesn't mention the King one for some odd reason. But Castoria does. It says, and with that many thousands of years, war has instated. But the evil, Morgana, using her evil magic, she shattered them all, shredded half the clan members of all, and united Britain in one, I wouldn't say banner, but just united Britain as one. After that, Morgana gave humans some limited freedom, allowing them to increase their civilization, and taking 2,000 years to get to where we are right now to this day. This is Morgana using this Lostbelt, or, the other world, she would do such a thing here. Maybe perhaps she is the different Morgana than the one that we know, but still. What is the political situation going on with this whole thing? Why the hell would she ever mention the castle Camelot in her own steed? Is she governing this place that even King Arthur won't be ashamed of? Is it fair and square? It says, oh my god, you gotta hear me out. It's terrible. And humans' populations and offsprings are being constantly strictly monitored, and fairies are also being run by Morgan. And any fairies that are living, any fairies that are alive, those who work for Morgan would have a curse emblem on their hands or in their bodies. The command seal. And if the command seal is inscribed on a fairy, once every year, they're forcefully sucked their life force offered as an offering. In the fairyland, they're called the living or existing tax, or what so. And the life force is a magical energy to her and nothing more than a means to use. Within 1 year, a magical energy that doesn't satisfy Morgan, that fairy would die in an instant. When she sat on the throne, Morgan told specifically the fairies these wordings. I will never forgive you all. I will never be your savior. All you need to do is listen and put your head on the ground. Put your head on the ground and swear loyalty to me, and I will protect Britain. Well, no, that's not what you said. ただ下へ神戸を乗れよ。盗聴の重機を持ってブリテンを殺したおう。低い頭の忠義を持ってブリテンを解放してやろう。とね、これに耐えきれず動けなくなった妖精はキャメロットに殺されて処理される。I will not forgive you. I will never save you. Just understand and just obey. Obey and put your heads down. This low loyalty of Britain, I will protect it till you all die. So what it says. Some people couldn't stand it, and any fairies that can't move or function anymore will get sent to Camelot to get taken care of. Or they would disappear from the town or the Camelot itself. They would run away from place unknown beyond land. Oh my god. So every once a year, a life tax. So that's why they were... Remember what they said in the forest. Because they said, oh my god, you got a command seal, buddy. You must have had it hard. If it's oppression, there's definitely a rebellious force to try to counteract this, correct? But even with that, Britain has been in control of Morgan for 2,000 plus years. Morgan must be that strong. After all, every year, she is collecting half of their souls as an essence. Nobody can, nobody in the fairy realm can never revolt against Morgan. But Morgan's policies and controlment is not all bad, not all like evil. It says, remember remember the dark thing that we fought before, the purple-looking thing that we fought in the seashore? Those fairies would call it moss, but technically in Britain, from the ever since of creation, that's a part of a calamity of sort. They're essentially a fairy that lost their objective, a fairy that lost their light. There are fairies that sometimes would become a moss if they do so. Moss are fairies' nemesis. Because it's so infectious that if a fairy get touched by a moss, its infection rate is very strong to the point that the fairy would also turn into a moss that got contacted afterward. It's a sickness that only fairies can contract. Starting from that moss, a lot of calamities started to happen more often in Britain. Morgan and her troops goes around the entire place eradicating these calamities. Even though Morgan may be a cruel ruler, simultaneously she is a sword that is technically still protecting Britain. So the fairies are afraid and hate Morgan for what she does. But they also cling to her rule to protect themselves. That's the situation of the fairyland we're in. So Morgan is the Lostbelt king then. Yep, I'm pretty sure for certain that might be the case. And our objective is to try to get Rongo Miniado, the great spell that even reached Olympus. That's definitely Morgan is the one who was capable of doing so. And then if that's the case, we need to start talking about the worst case scenario. Beryl Gut and the relations with Morgan. Well, to be perfectly honest, I don't think we can have a nice conversation or a peaceful conversation or negotiations with Morgan in the first place, but I see. We have our own reasons in order to defeat Morgan. It seems so. Yep. But without her permission, there's no way that we can enter in Camelot in the first place, you know? It says, but then again, Morgan, right? Morgan's rule is not all there is to it. Right now, in this current Britain, another bright hope is being born. We're talking about, we came in at exactly the right moment because this fairyland of Britain is about to flip over. What do you mean by new hope? It's the prophecy child. The child of prophecy. Well, I don't know if they exist anymore. But the Mirror, the Mirror clan specifically said its leader, before they completely hid themselves, they left a prophecy for us. And it goes like this. From 16 years from now, a savior will arrive. Savior will arrive, drafted and led by the staff of selection. A true king will the true king will descend upon the crown. Excuse me. When the 6 bells ring, the fake queen will be defeated. It will both end the fake history. They would get fairies and humans in arms and end the fake history of tyranny. See? Sounds very familiar, right? And I'm interesting to say, the trustworthy is almost guaranteed. After all, from what I've been hearing, the Mirror Clan's prophecy never went wrong before. Joe は未だに16歳になる精霊を捕まえては監禁しているけど。Well, at this very moment, the queen is going around the entire land, capturing and consolidating and sealing off every girl that is of age of 16 and age of 16. But still, the prophecy hunting is still in play, meaning that we still have a chance, and it's proof that she hasn't been caught, or it hasn't been caught. Boss or prophecy child, no matter what, right now we have a valuable opportunity of strike for the queen to be hesitant, since she's fighting 2 battles. If we were to use this opportunity correctly, we might be able to even conversate, even negotiate with Morgan. But then again, first things first, we need to prioritize rendezvousing with MASH as much as we can. So let's rest up a little bit and heal ourselves. Tomorrow we're going to start gathering information. Let's do our very best not to be a sore thumb. So be natural, okay? Oh my lord. Hey, thanks for the follow, guys. Big preach. Sleeping in, tired as hell. Ugh, a fluffy bed. It's been a while. The Britain Lostbelt. Queen Morgan. Artoria and Obero. MASH, I hope you are safe. Well, we should be taking our rest too, you know. Servants don't usually take sleep, but, you know, being nervous all the time or standing at attention forever kind of gets it tiring in a jest. So that the fact that you, of all person, never let that arrow or bow, never let that bow from that string ever once even now, has expected of Sir Knights of the Round Table, Tristan, I guess. It seems that I've already been found out. It seems I too, indeed, with this tension at hand, would like to have a little rest. But that is for another time, of course. I should be saying the same thing, Miss Da Vinci. You are a servant, but you are you are just like Protag, a life form that is living the now. So please do not push yourself and take a couple of sleep. Please don't worry. The protections and the guards of those two will be my job and my will. Huh. Okay. Then I'll take your word for it. As expected of a pretty boy of the knight's table, Tristan. Thank you. Well, if that's the case, I'll get pampered to your word. To be perfectly honest, I was getting to my limit. Yes. Please have a good night. But before that, I have one but a request. Until you fall asleep, until it falls asleep, it's only a matter of moments. But may I have the memories of the Lostbelt 6? I would like to know in the Holy Land Camelot what I did when I was summoned. Can you tell me and teach me what I've done? Uh-oh. Uh-oh.